So I met Taylor Swift. That happened this past week. I'm still in so much shock currently. The day it happened, I didn't even think it was gonna happen until like 3 hours before it happened. Here's my story. About a month ago, a week before June started, I got a message from Taylor Nation, a generic one for people who were in Chicago, basically saying that, hey, we have this event in Chicago going on at the AT&T Now store. I was like, cool. Why not? So I waited in line for 5 hours. We got like little merch bags with the Alp and Pop socket, a Taylor Swift Now AT&T brand bag, and then the Chicago patch, and then a keychain that had the Reputation logo on it. So that was cool, and some people won tickets to the concert the next week. So I went to the concert, had the time of my life, honestly, one of the best nights of my life. It was so incredible. She puts on the biggest show. She dances, she knows all the choreography. It's breathtaking, I can't even explain it. I met Mama Swift there, I saw her dad. So anyways, after that I was kind of like, okay, probably won't meet Taylor this era, but that's fine. And then I got an email from Taylor Swift Now saying, hey, you have been selected for this new event that's coming up. Then a few days after that, I got an email saying you're invited to this super secret event on Thursday. Don't tell anyone about it, and the day before we'll send out more information. And I was like, cool, like I don't even know if I'm going to go. I'll just RSVP as yes. RSVP is yes, because why not? Might as well. This past Wednesday night, I got an email, and it was like super secret. We're gonna meet at this location, and we're gonna bus you to the venue, and there's gonna be food and drinks. It's gonna be like a fun night with listening to Taylor's music, merch, being with fellow Swifties. You must be 18 years or older. So I just said, I'm confirming. So the next day I decided I'm gonna go because this sounds interesting. Why not? So I went, we waited in a line, and in the line we heard rumors that they were taking our phone. If you haven't paid attention to what happens at events that Taylor's at, during the secret sessions, people were bussed and their phones were taken away. We had to go through a metal detector, and I heard rumors about that, and I was like, maybe this is actually happening. I FaceTimed my mom and was like, hey, if I'm AWOL for the next few hours, it's because I don't have my phone. So we got on the bus, they're playing Taylor Swift music, we were jamming, and then we got to the venue, and I'll include some pictures. We went through this alley to get there, and then we went downstairs, and it was just complete Taylor. I was in a state of shock. There were different places where you could take photos, like photo op places, like one that had big Reputation on it. There were like arcade games like Pac-Man. They also had Wreck-It Ralph. I failed at all of these. They had skee ball. I failed at that. We got to dance on top of the skee ball machines. There was an open bar, free food. They had a dance floor that like lit up when you stepped on it. So much stuff promoting Taylor. When you did things, you got these little Taylor Swift Now tickets, and then you got to trade them in for merch and stuff. So I ended up getting 2 t-shirts, 2 things of coasters, a bunch of fanny packs, because at the point that I got there, they had ran out of a lot of stuff. They also had water bottles and different kinds of bags, and they had the ripped hoodie and cameras, like Polaroid stuff, and like they had the lithographs and vinyl signed Taylor stuff, and I was just amazed that they had all this. And then they also had claw machines with Taylor merch, and I won a pop socket, and I also won some patches from that. And so we had been there for like an hour or two. What happened was, in part of this lounge area, the walls just came up, and there was a stage with a microphone and a piano and a bunch of guitars, and we were all just, our minds were blown. There wasn't any way to describe it. We knew she was there then, and she came, after like 15 minutes she came out, and she was wearing this green jumpsuit that like had cargo pants and the pockets were fake. We later found out she looked like an absolute angel. She was like, hey there, surprise. She was absolutely beautiful, and on a black guitar she played gorgeous, and we were all singing around and doing the dings and the vocals. And then she also played delicate, and we did the 1, 2, 3 let's go. And she was like, they asked me if I needed backup singers or dancers for this, and I'm so glad I said no, because you guys know everything. And we were like, we gotcha. And then she went to the piano and she played All Too Well, and I was just emotional. And then she also played New Year's Day and talked about 2 New Year's Eves ago. She like decided to jump in a pool fully clothed because she was just in this state of weird uncomfortableness. And the next day it was Advil or nothing. Like she was just dead. During the concert she was looking in our eyes. Like I felt like she made eye contact with everyone there. She had a monologue before each song that she played. She played Shake It Off on guitar for us, and then someone in the audience, I believe, yelled, "Hey, play more songs," and she was like, "I could, or I could do meet and greets," and we were all just like, we got a concert, but we also got meet and greets. This is insane. You wouldn't expect this in your wildest dreams. We waited in line for like an hour, and I ended up meeting Tree Payne, who's the sweetest, and we talked about her cat and how he's doing great, and I mentioned how when Taylor had followed me on Tumblr last August, how my dad was there and how he had thought it was management. She was like, "Oh no, it's not management. It is Taylor 100%. And I was just like, "Take that, Dad." So that was funny. And then we talked with Mama Swift, Andrea Swift, and she was the sweetest. We got hugs from her, and we just talked about how awesome Taylor was. And then it was time to meet Taylor, and the curtain pulls back. And I was just in a state of shock because she was actually there. This person I've been looking up to, this woman who I love with all of my heart, is standing in front of me for the first time, and I was just like, "Whoa!" Just verbal, like, nothing comes out of my mouth. My first words to her were, "You're tall," and she was like, "Yeah." And she had heels on and was like, "Yeah, that's part of the reason." But she had the J necklace, and it was beautiful, and I wanted to cry. And at one point I remember she was going like this. I was like, "That's Taylor Swift's forearm." Of all the things you think, Joe, when you're meeting your idol. Good job. But we talked about the Chicago Night 2 Rain show, and she felt like it was out of a movie, and she was so thankful that it had only been for the last 4 songs rather than the entire 2 hours, because while she gets sweat in the fountain at the end, she was just thankful that for us that we weren't soaked throughout the entire performance. I talked to her about how she followed me. She talked about how when she's trying to follow people, half of the time it doesn't go through. She'll be clicking the follow button on repeat and nothing happens, and she was really frustrated with that. She then asked if we wanted to take a photo. She put her arms around all of us. I grabbed her hand and she squeezed back so tight, and you can see in the picture. Before I left, she was hugging us again, and I'm like, "You smell delicious." All the things you could have said about the way she smelled, you used delicious. You could have said she smells lovely, but instead delicious. And she told me it was a Tom Ford perfume, and she had stolen it quickly out of her mom's purse, and I was like, "Hey, Taylor Swift, she's just like us kids." And that was awkward for me. I'm embarrassed that I said that. She's a human angel. She just came and had been planning this and created this for us. It was totally free. There was no charge. Not everyone does that. Most celebs just make you pay $1,000 or $500, $1,000 or more dollars for a meet and greet that's like 30 seconds. She put on a full, like, a mini concert for us. We got free merch. We had food there. There was an open bar. We got to meet her and take photos with her. At the time, she had told us that people had advised her not to talk, so it would be a quick meet and greet. She ended up spending 3 to 5 minutes with everyone. She really cares, and anyone who thinks that she's an awful person, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. She's so incredible, so heartwarming, so down to earth. She's such an incredible human, and I'm so thankful I got to meet her. I didn't think I could love her more. My heart just expanded 5 times. My heart is so full of love and happiness that this happened to me. That's my story of how I met Taylor Swift, and it was insane. I'm honestly still in shock.